All right. So far for our project, we have created our Mexican tin heart, and we have created our patterns and colors around it, so that way we have a nice design going on for our Mexican tin heart. And we have made our sugar skull, or our Day of the Dead skull, to go in the middle of it, which is very like exciting, because remember, yours was supposed to have like its own sort of thing going on and extra little things. So it could have had a hat, a bow tie, it could have had hair, it could have had flowers on it, any sort of thing like that. My little guy has a little brain sticking out of his head. All right, so this is the part where we start coloring our skull in. So we're going to start with a black, and I'm going to fill in different areas with black, so that way they stand out more. So I'm going to fill in like this little area, and we're using Sharpie markers. We don't need to use paint right now. A lot of us are kind of stuck at home, so this makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I'm going to be really careful, and I'm going to fill in right here, fill in my little eye socket. So here is one. There's one. And I think, just to make this more believable, I'm going to put a liner on the top of his eye so he looks like he's actually inside the eye socket. Oh, yes, that looks a lot better. And I'll just fix this up right in here. All right, so here's one eye. We're going to do the other eye. Now, if you didn't smooth down parts of your clay, this is going to be a little bit trickier for you. And those of you who did smooth down your clay, this will be a breeze. So I'm decorating the eyes, filling them in, so that way his eyeballs inside him really pop out so we can see him. I have some little chunky spots on the side of this one. All right, so the eyes are set. And then, of course, I'm going to fill in the little nostrils right here. Okay, so we have this part going on. Now, I am going to outline my teeth because I want them to be seen. And I know I'm using a lot of black, but I am going to go back in and use a lot of color too. I want you to be able to tell where my teeth are. My teeth were really kind of like not smooth when I did this. So now I'm really noticing that it's a little tricky. That's okay. We turn him around. We'll do this side. He's going to come to life, this skull. It's not going to be plain anymore. Okay, so I got my teeth outlined. He's got some teeth going on. And I am also going to make some little pupils on his eyes. So that way, look at this. He's already more alive than ever. Now, my next thing I want to do is I want to create some different little designs on him. So I'm going to use like this yellowy green color. And I am going to go around, like I'm going to outline the mouth with this color. A lot of the sugar skulls that we see, they outline the mouths with a couple different colors. So that's what we are going to do here. We're just outlining. So we have like this little highlighted mouth going on. And I'm going to also, some of these Sharpies just don't want to open today. I'm going to use some orange around it too, so that way his mouth really pops out. You can make your lines really thick or you can make your lines thin. It really is up to you. But we are making some patterns and some designs on this Day of the Dead skull. And in order to do that, we have to take our time. Some of you guys have thicker Sharpies at home than these little ones that I managed to, get a hold of. Do your best. I've seen students use crayons and stuff with them as well. So here's my little design around the mouth. And because this is a Day of the Dead skull, I'm going to put marigold flowers around the eyes. They do that on a lot of the Day of the Dead skulls. Remember, marigolds are for death and rebirth. So you have these beautiful flowers. And they decorate the graves with them and the altars. They're used for pretty much everything during that day. They're like the main flower. So we're going to fill all these little petals in. I'm only going to do one eye because I want my flower to not get smeared in with another flower. Okay. Different little things right there for our little skeleton skull. And I am going to put, so I have this blue and I have like a fine tip on one end and a thicker marker on the other. I'm going to outline this orange flower with blue because blue and orange are complementary colors and they tend to pop each other out. See how that's looking really nice already? Plus, you guys all know that blue is like my favorite color, so like I love to use a ton of blue on a lot of stuff. It's just my thing. So we got this going on. So this is coming out really nice so far. I was thinking that because it's the Day of the Dead and we want to remember people, we could also add some different designs around this eye, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going with that yet. So while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to start doing the brain. I'm going to use my pink Sharpie marker. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to go right around this edge that I made. I'm going to try not to touch the skull too much with this pink. Okay. So I'm going to get this part in. See, I like smeared a little bit, but that's okay. And then I'm going to get in this area just to outline this. Maybe I'll outline the brain with a little bit of blue or something else just to clean up some of these edges that I'm getting right here. Okay, so then I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to do all the areas that are like lifted up. So none of my little lines that I've indented. I'm going to just do all of these top areas pink because my little brain is pink. So like a nice healthy brain. So you can see some of the swirls that I've put in there now that I'm going back over stuff with my marker. Okay. We're getting there. Working on our brain. This part's hard because if you don't smooth out stuff, it really is tricky to come back in here with a marker and like touch it all up. This little, here, got rid of that little piece that was sticking out. That wasn't going to help anybody being there. Okay, so now I got my pink on my brain and I'm going to go back in with this little marker right here, this little Sharpie marker that's like a darker pink. You can definitely tell these are new because you can barely get them off. And I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to create these darker areas. So I'm taking the time to put in details and make my sugar skull very exciting. You don't want it to be boring. You want to show me how creative you can be. Think outside the box. Make your person really awesome. You could even make one of the skeletons that you saw from the movie Coco if you wanted to. Like Frida Kahlo was in there, and she had her little skeleton, and she was planning out what kind of dance she would do for the celebration. And we'll do this one right here, this one. We got this piece going on. We've got this one. Let me see here. We're going to have a little bit right in here. And we'll do this little area. If you have to, you can always go back into some spots that you didn't, that you already put pink on, and you can like make a little line to show your brain. So we can have like a little squiggly line right here. And I know this is the back and I'm putting some little details on it, and we might not see it, but it's still good to go back in and do that. And I want to like just touch up some of these spots. There. So now we have a brain and we have our little skull. Some people like to put little spider web looking designs and stuff on theirs. That would be pretty cool. I was thinking like, because this side doesn't have a lot, I would do it like right over in here. So I'm going to put a point where I'm going to start, and I'm going to put lines that come out. And then I'm trying to think of like, maybe this spider web could come out and like attach to this eye, because this eye has nothing else going on with it. And then this part right here, because it's so big, it can come down to the mouth. So we'll have this crazy spider web design going on in this, and that'll be kind of neat. And I'm going to add one more line right in here just so that it changes a little bit. So when you do a spider web design, you have to make like these little curvy lines, because spider webs, they're kind of loose, so that way they can catch little bugs and stuff. And if you want, you can make your own spider, but I'm just going to make the web. So this piece right here is pretty much done. So now it's like over here. If you ever notice that sometimes spider webs are not completely even, so they kind of like, they go wherever they can until they can't make any more web in one spot, and then they go into another spot. So this one is going to come out like this. So we're going to come here, and we're going to come here. I'm just going to touch that up. Sometimes it's hard to draw in these little spots. But then we have this little spider web piece going on with our Day of the Dead skull. And it gives it kind of like that little extra something that you would like on your Day of the Dead skull. We can even add like eyebrows to our skull. Make them a little thicker so we can find them in our spider web later. So we can add eyebrows. Okay, you can even do like your own little design on the side with vines or other things. But when you are all complete on your skull and you've decorated it and everything, you can add it. Let's see, we'll line it right up. You can add it right over to your Mexican tin heart. And then you can also give it some hot glue, and your project is done. You've done a great job, and I can't wait to see what everybody creates.